Hey folks, Rusty aka the RusWJ coming back at you with another edition of the RusWJ Files. Want to call this edition, want to call it For the Love of the Read, because 99.5% of my comic obsession hobby is for just that, the love of the read, the love of the medium, the love of the characters, love of the writing, love of the art. That last little bit is just that little bit of like, oh hey, cool, this comic might be worth something one of these days. But I'm not banking on that. They're not exactly my 401k. So, had a 3-day weekend. I'm still recovering, man. I am today, still dragging a little bit today, and man, yeah. I need to wake up for this thing. Need to wake up. I need to do something. Come on, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall, yell, get your ass to Mars! If you don't tell anybody I did that, then I won't tell anybody I did that. I would appreciate it. But I digress. On this 3-day weekend, of course, did a little bit of comic hunting, and the hunting was good. My main goal this weekend was to look for some stuff that I wanted, and some stuff that looked interesting at a good price. And there's 3 different places that I hit over the 3-day weekend. I hit up the Half Price Books in Westport here in beautiful Casey, Missouri. I also hit up Vintage Stock, my usual haunt where I go to pick up where my pull list is, and I go to pick up my stuff. And also when I was up in the area visiting on the family unit, I hit up the Hastings up in St. Joe, Missouri. All three good chains. If they're not national, they're definitely regional, definitely big. Check them out. And and all these guys, for the most part, with their back issues, they keep them pretty cheap. They keep it pretty cheap, and they keep it accessible. If you go in there with a 20, you can walk out with a stack of really good stuff. And sometimes the condition may not be the best, but if you're doing it like me, if you're doing it for the love of the read, so long as they're not tattered and in completely horrible, shitty shape, then hey, it's something for you. It's a way to get interested in a book if you see something that interests you, or if you're looking to fill a couple holes in a run that you're looking for. Hey, yeah, I found a couple Rocketeers I was looking for over the weekend. Hey, double bonus. So, like for instance, Half Price Books doesn't always bag and board their stuff, but most everything in there, unless it's a big issue or a big title, something important happened, they usually carry them for $1, or they'll carry them in clearance for 50 cents. For instance, anybody who knows me knows how much I love The Black Hole, the old school Disney movie. Found this for 50 cents. Spine's not in the best of shape, but I've seen a lot worse. And hey, I used to have this when I was like 5 years old, so it was just nice to grab a copy of this. And so in hitting up Vintage Stock, excuse me, man, I'm coughing my balls off today. Vintage Stock, they're usually pretty good with their back issue prices too. Of course, with any of these guys, you're not going to find something like, Fantastic Four #1 for $1 or 50 cents, but if you find something for $1.50, $2 that looks interesting and you want to check it out, why not? Now, for instance, at Vintage Stock, found this issue of Swamp Thing, and I've always been a Swamp Thing fan, but check out the cover. It's a meetup of Swamp Thing with Sergeant Rock and Easy Company. How often does that happen? So I saw the cover, I bought it cover alone, and it was like $1.50. And found some other Teen Titans, some of the Wolfman Perez stuff that I'm really a big fan of that. One of these days I'm going to pick up that ultra expensive omnibus and have that, because that's one of those comic runs when they did New Teen Titans that just can't be beat. Look at these, like all $1 a piece. But between $1 to $2, you can't beat that. And then of course I hit up the Hastings, found some really cool stuff there. That's where I found that Rocketeer that I was looking for, and also found Justice League from the Giffen DeMatteis years. All this stuff is insanely funny. And found a whole bunch of Judge Dredd books. And you know how awesome Judge Dredd is. You better know how awesome Judge Dredd is. All of these for $1, man. So you're going to find cool stuff that you want to check out at a decent price. And like I said, you can walk in there, $10, $20, come out with a good stack of stuff, and you're not out a whole lot of money. And this isn't me bagging on the local mom and pop stores. Quite the contrary. If you can find good values there, and if you can find stuff that you really love there, of course, I highly suggest you check out any of your local cats. And as far as local mom and pop stores go, a story from when I was younger. There was a local mom and pop used bookstore in Leavenworth, Kansas that I would hit up, and they had started carrying comics. And right when Lobo was getting popular, granted, not much for the character, but I digress. In the teenage years, I went through there, I was pilfering through their books, found a copy of that first Omega Men book with the first appearance of Lobo in pristine condition. Of course, when I was a kid, I was a little more jazzed about the idea of the comics being worth something. So picked that thing up and had it for years on end, and until I had wound up letting go of it for whatever reason, and probably because I needed beer money. That happens. A lot of you people can relate to that. All right, don't judge me. All right, once I coming back full circle, this for me is for the love of the read, and and in a situation like this, it is quantity and it is quality, because I'm picking up cool stuff. I'm finding cool stuff, finding interesting stuff, and if I find something that piques my interest and it doesn't really trip my trigger, I only paid $1 for it. And it's a good way, if you're curious about a book, look for those back issues. It might be $1. See if it's something wade in a little bit before you really jump in, because you don't want to buy 2 or 3 trade paperbacks. Like, well, that character looks interesting. Buy 2 or 3 trade paperbacks at $20 a pop, and you're out that much money going, oh, didn't like the guy. That kind of sucks. Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in that position. So, I encourage anybody out there. Granted, I'm probably preaching to the choir with some of this, but hey, check it out. And of course, comic book conventions. There's a lot of cats there who are looking to unload a lot of stock. So they may have bargains like this too. So you may find some holes in the collection you were looking to fill. May find something you were curious about, and hey, for that much, you may give it a read. And like that Omega Man Lobo story, you may find a hidden gem in there that you were none the wiser to until you saw it. So I highly recommend it. Good luck, good hunting with that. And I'll probably come back with you later in the week. I know there's some good stuff new release-wise coming out later this week, so we'll definitely check in on that closer to the end of the week. So please forget I did the Arnie Scream earlier. And once again, this is the Rusty, a.k.a. the RusWJ. Be geek strong, be geek proud, keep on reading. Have fun.